There is a mine in the Surbit Mountains of northwestern Arizona that has been producing turquoise for over 1,000 years. The Hualapai people mined it. Spanish explorers wrote about it in the 1600s, and today it still produces some of the most vivid, electrically blue turquoise on the planet. Most people have held Kingman turquoise in their hands without ever knowing what they were holding. And the ones who do know, the collectors, the serious buyers, the Native American artisans who specifically request it, they treat it like gold. Here is why. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what makes Kingman turquoise different from every other turquoise on the market. You will know its history, and it goes back further than the United States itself. You will know what the matrix looks like, why the color is so distinct, how it is stabilized and why that is not always a bad thing, and how to tell genuine Kingman from the imitations flooding the market right now. This is the kind of knowledge that separates a smart buyer from someone who pays premium prices for a stone worth a fraction of what they spent. Stick with us. This one is worth your time. Let's start with the history, because Kingman's story is genuinely extraordinary. The Kingman mine sits in Mojave County, Arizona, near the city of Kingman along Old Route 66. The Surbit mountain range holds deposits of copper-rich rock, and it is that copper that gives Kingman turquoise its signature color. A vivid, almost electric medium to sky blue that turquoise collectors immediately recognize. But here is what most people do not realize. The Hualapai people, whose ancestral homeland covers millions of acres of northwestern Arizona, were mining this stone long before European contact. Archaeological evidence suggests turquoise extraction in this region dates back at least 1,000 years. When Spanish missionaries and explorers moved through the Southwest in the 1600s, they documented native people trading this brilliant blue stone across vast distances. It was currency, it was ceremony, it was sacred. Fast forward to 1901, when the Turquoise Bonanza mine, which is now known as the Kingman mine, was officially registered and commercial operations began. For decades through the early and mid-20th century, the mine produced turquoise in enormous quantities. It supplied Native American artisans from the Navajo Nation, the Hopi, the Zuni, and beyond. It became the backbone of the southwestern turquoise jewelry trade. When you see vintage pieces from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s in trading posts and estate sales, there is a very real chance the stone in that piece came from Kingman. And that history, 1,000 years of it, is part of what you hold when you hold a Kingman stone. But the history only tells part of the story. Now let's talk about what makes Kingman turquoise visually distinct, because once you know what to look for, you will spot it immediately. Kingman turquoise is famous for its color range. It runs from a pale sky blue all the way to a deep, rich medium blue, occasionally tipping into blue-green. That pure blue, the kind that looks like someone pressed the Arizona sky into a stone, is what collectors specifically seek out. It comes from a high copper content in the host rock. The more copper, the bluer the stone, but color is only half the picture. The matrix, that is the web of surrounding rock that runs through the turquoise, is what gives each Kingman stone its personality. Kingman matrix is typically dark brown to black, sometimes silvery, and it forms in patterns that range from tight spiderweb networks to bold, chunky veins. The spiderweb Kingman, where fine black lines create an intricate web pattern across that vivid blue, is considered some of the most collectible turquoise in the world. Serious collectors will pay extraordinary prices for a high-grade spiderweb Kingman cabochon. Here is the contrast that surprises most people. They assume plain blue is better because it looks cleaner, but among true turquoise people, the artisans, the collectors, the traders who have spent their lives with this stone, a perfectly executed spiderweb Kingman is a trophy. It is art created entirely by geology. No two stones are even remotely alike, and that uniqueness is something mass-produced synthetic stones can never replicate, no matter how hard they try. But here is where things get a little complicated. Let's talk about stabilization, because this is where a lot of buyers get confused, and sometimes misled. Raw turquoise pulled from the earth exists on a spectrum of hardness. Gem quality, naturally hard turquoise is relatively rare and commands serious prices. A large portion of what comes out of any mine, including Kingman, is softer and more porous. Left in its natural state, Soft turquoise absorbs oils from your skin, fades in sunlight, and can crack over time. It is beautiful but fragile. Stabilization is the process of injecting that softer stone with a clear epoxy resin under pressure, which fills the pores, hardens the stone, and locks in the color. The result is a durable, workable stone that holds its color beautifully over decades. The vast majority of Kingman turquoise on the market today is stabilized. And here is the critical point that the industry does not always communicate clearly. Stabilized genuine Kingman is still genuine Kingman. The stone is real, the turquoise is real. The history and the geology are real. Stabilization is an enhancement, not a fraud, as long as it is disclosed. The fraud happens when sellers do not disclose it, or when they sell dyed howlite, plastic, or resin composites as if they were natural turquoise. That is a completely different category. When you buy from a reputable seller who tells you clearly that a stone is stabilized Kingman, you are getting exactly what you pay for. A genuine American turquoise with a remarkable history, made wearable and durable for everyday jewelry. Natural, untreated, high-grade Kingman does exist, and it commands premium prices. But stabilized Kingman, properly disclosed, is an honest and beautiful stone. Know the difference, and you will never be misled. Now here is the piece of the Kingman story that almost nobody talks about. And it is the part that moves me every time I think about it. Kingman turquoise is deeply woven into the living tradition of Native American jewelry making. When Navajo silversmiths in the early 20th century were developing what we now recognize as classic Southwestern silver and turquoise jewelry, Kingman was one of their primary stones. The Zuni lapidary artists, the Pueblo people from Zuni, New Mexico, who are arguably the finest stonecutters in the world, have been cutting and inlaying Kingman for generations. When you look at a traditional Zuni inlay piece with that vivid sky blue surrounded by jet black and white shell, there is a significant chance that blue is Kingman. And when Navajo artisans set a bold, high-domed oval of blue turquoise into a heavy, sterling silver cuff, they are continuing a tradition that runs back through their great-grandparents. The stone carries meaning that goes beyond decoration. In Navajo tradition, turquoise is one of the 4 sacred stones representing the South and associated with the dawn and the sky. It is not just jewelry, it is a language. When you buy a piece of Native American sterling silver jewelry set with Kingman turquoise, you are participating in a cultural and artistic tradition that spans centuries. You are connecting to something real, to a landscape, to a people, to 1,000 years of human relationship with this extraordinary stone pulled from the mountains of Arizona. That is not something you can say about a dyed piece of howlite from a fast fashion retailer. And that difference is everything. So here's what you now know that most people never find out. Kingman turquoise comes from one of the oldest, continuously mined turquoise deposits in North America, backed by over 1,000 years of human history. Its vivid blue color and distinctive spiderweb matrix make it immediately recognizable to trained eyes. Stabilized Kingman is genuine turquoise, just enhanced for durability, and honest disclosure is the mark of a trustworthy seller. And the connection between Kingman turquoise and living Native American jewelry traditions gives every piece a depth and meaning that no synthetic can touch. At Turquoise Traders Direct, we source authentic Kingman turquoise and work with genuine Native American artisans. Every piece we carry comes with the information you need to buy with confidence. Check out our collection through the link in the description. If you learned something today, subscribe to this channel. We put out new turquoise education every week. And drop a comment below. Tell us, have you ever owned a piece of Kingman turquoise? We want to hear your story.